looking at the mandate of developing the Niger Delta region being saddled on your shoulder, do you think the amnesty program has complemented your role in any way?
One would say yes, believing the reports of the management of the program, not on account of first-hand interactive evidence or experience. So my answer to that would be yes, because the reports show that they've been doing some work.
Now, let's come to one of the biggest challenge in the Niger Delta region, the Ogoni cleanup. Even though it's under the Ministry of the Environment, you are a member of the governing board, and the dream of seeing Ogoni cleanup would be a big relief to your mandate as the Niger Delta Affairs
That's
Minister.
true.
So, could you give us an update on this cleanup? Because what we've seen is that nothing has been done on that cleanup. We understand that there have been inconsistencies from the JV partners, that some has remitted money, but mainly from funds are not forthcoming. Counterpart funds from government are not forthcoming on the part of government, federal government.
The budget for the engagement or for the preliminary engagement of those who should function in terms of having to ratify or justify the preliminary stages of its takeoff is being reviewed, as I'm talking to you now, by representatives of the United Nations. Remember that the United Nations Environment Program, ab initio, had a central role to play here. And in this regard, it's an international program. And there are international global standards on such sensitive projects, which must not be violated by Nigeria. When you talk of donors or contributors to the program in terms of funding, the International Oil Company Consortium, or Shell in particular, plays a major role. And for them to be confident enough that their funds are utilized appropriately, they have been taking part in every step of the process.
Yeah, when you talk of the United Nations team reviewing,
I say taking part.
Taking part in
review,
this. Yeah, just some years ago they came up with the UNEP report, which was applauded globally, and that came from the impact assessment of the level of degradation in the area. But now, from the UNEP report, it's a 5-year plan. And from the time it was flagged off last year, the cleanup was flagged off last year, 20% of the project was meant to have been completed. By now, we should be saying 40% of the completion. Now, with the review of the United Nations team, is that a way of nullifying the UNEP report?
They are not reviewing the report. They are reviewing the preliminary budget for takeoff. The components that are here, the project, you may not understand if you don't have insight into what it takes. To clean up is not just to take a bottle of broom and sweep the water.
So are you saying the $1 billion initial targets would not be enough?
Definitely never. It won't be enough. This is just a takeoff grant.
So we've not even we've not even been able to navigate to where we're going. We don't even know where we're going.
We are able to navigate where we are going.
Okay, how much will this cost?
We know where we are going.
How much will the project cost?
In terms of that, only the experts who handle the report will be able to say. But again, considering the various indices of monetary and economic and fiscal interventions, you may not have the same cost today as it were when the report was completed. But beyond that, the program was launched in 2016, not 2017.
Yes.
But 8 months after then, remember, or even more, there was serious attacks, or there were serious attacks on the pipelines, making the area even more insecure for people to go in there to do anything. So effectively, activities started last year. And the instruments of authorization for the work to go on, like getting the gazettes, getting the laws to set up the board of trustees, the governing council, the management coordination office, and all that. They are not things that happen in one day, because not just one agency. If it was just limited to the Ministry of Environment, I'm sure by now you'd have seen greater action. Because whatever we do has to be endorsed by all parties involved, because transparency and due standards, procedures must be met. So I appeal to all of us to be sure that as we peruse the process or the procedure, let's also have faith that what is started must be completed.
They've been called for the Petroleum Industry Tribunal. Do you think that would help your cause in any way?
Those who call for it, who are experts in the sector, probably have rationale for that. I also know that any crime committed within the petroleum sector has accommodation within our codes of laws. Nonetheless, talking about a tribunal probably is to create a faster access to dispensation of justice.
Now, any solution to pipeline attacks in the region?
The only solution is the application of our conscience to good reason, honesty, sincerity, and nationality or nationalism. That is the only solution.
Let's come to your major mandate now. The Niger Delta Development Commission is the main parastatal under the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs.
Yeah.
And it's been a subject of controversy recently. So what are you doing? What kind of intervention do you think you need to reposition? Or what are your plans in repositioning the Niger Delta Development Commission?
There are some complexities ab initio in the setting up of the NDDC. They tell you the people are civil servants. Yet certain conditions that guide their operations are like private sector agencies. And so some actions you want to take to shape certain disorders, you see that you are handicapped even as a management or as a supervising agency. I am not shy to take some of those actions. But one is more concerned with the consistency within the rule and the establishment of establishment matters concerning the agency setup.
What are those things that you need to do to reshape the place?
Of course, everything about every system has 90% application or implication of the human component. Once that is put properly, other things will follow.
Talking about reshaping the nation now, we'll take a cursory look at a very vital institution like the Niger Delta Development Commission. And are you under pressure? Because we know that definitely there will be a lot of influential people that have a stake in some of the projects going on under the supervision of the NDDC. So are you prepared to dam the consequence in the interest of the nation and the interest of the masses?
I have no problem at all dealing with that situation. I am not under pressure of any sort to take the actions that are right. I'm only under psychological pressure of Nigerians who will never have the right mind of objectivity to assess situations right before they pass their judgments. But for pressure of function, pressure of capacity and ability, it's nothing.